Now, I recently had a case that was a great example of two things. One, sometimes the cause of your symptoms is simpler than you think, and two, supplements aren't always good for you. I had a patient coming in for diarrhea, bloating, loose stools, urgency, some mild pain, every day, for months. Now, a lot of things can cause diarrhea: infection, inflammatory diseases, food intolerances, foods, autoimmune diseases, and medicines. Medicines are an easy one, but are often easy to forget. Lots of medicines cause diarrhea as a side effect, and it's important to remember that supplements can cause side effects too.
There is a building in New Jersey you have never heard of. No sign on the outside. No name you would recognize. Inside that building, a machine is filling capsules right now. The powder going into those capsules is the same powder filling a $10 bottle at Walmart. And the $300 bottle your doctor on Instagram told you was different. Same machine, same shift, same hour. The brand on that $300 bottle has probably never been inside that factory. They did not design the formula. They did not source the ingredients. They approved a label. They picked a flavor. They placed an order. And a company called a contract manufacturer, a CMO, did everything else. This is not a small corner of the supplement industry. This is the supplement industry. Over 70% of all dietary supplements sold in the United States are manufactured by third-party contract facilities. Not the brand, not the company whose name is on the bottle. A factory you have never heard of, in a building with no sign, running 3 different brands before lunch. I want you to picture what that actually looks like. Monday morning, 1 production line, 6 a.m., filling capsules for a budget brand sold at dollar stores. 10 a.m., same line, same machines, wipe down and reset. Now filling capsules for a premium wellness brand with a celebrity partnership and a $280 price tag. Same machines, same operators, often the same raw material supplier, same powder, different label negotiated 6 weeks earlier in a conference room the factory never saw.
Here's how to make sulforaphane supplements with broccoli microgreens. First, you just harvest, spread them out to dry. I use a dehumidifier, which works very well. Then I'm going to grind them into a powder and sift for the smallest particles, toss that into a capsule filling machine. This one makes 100 at once. These are size 00, and then we're good to go.
The difference is not on the production floor. The difference is on the packaging table. Now here is what I could not stop thinking about after I found this. Most people, when they hear this, assume the premium brand must be buying something different from the same factory. A better grade of the ingredient. A higher purity raw material. Something that justifies the number on the price tag. Sometimes that is true, but the documentation that determines whether it is true, you never see it. You were never meant to. And once I understood what that documentation actually contains and what it does not have to say, everything about how supplements are sold started to look like a different industry than the one I thought I understood. Now, before you assume this is completely unregulated, there is a framework, and I want to explain it properly, because understanding how the protection was designed is the only way to understand exactly where it broke. Every supplement facility operating in the US is supposed to comply with FDA 21 CFR Part 111. Good manufacturing practices. GMP means the facility has documented processes, cleanliness standards, equipment maintenance logs, quality control checkpoints at every stage of production. Every batch of product is supposed to come with a certificate of analysis, a COA. A COA is a document generated after testing that confirms what is in the product and at what concentration. When a brand puts GMP certified on their label, that phrase is supposed to mean something real. It is supposed to tell you, this facility was checked, this process was verified, someone made sure.
The way that supplements are regulated in this country is they're not. They say if you don't take our supplement, your immune system is going to suffer. This is where they lie. Vitamin C is crucial to your immune system. Absolutely true. If I cut out all vitamin C out of your diet, your immune system would be shot. Very true. Eating the diet that most people do, you'll have plenty of vitamin C and you'll never get to that deficiency. But what these supplement companies promise you is by giving you more, you'll somehow get a bigger benefit. That's not true. Once you meet the minimum requirement of what you need, that's it. Your body doesn't need anymore.
Here is the first problem. The FDA inspects dietary supplement manufacturing facilities on average once every 8 to 10 years. That number is not from a watchdog report. That is from the FDA's own testimony to Congress. 8 to 10 years between federal inspections. A facility can open, operate for a full decade, and close, without a single federal inspector walking through the door. Here is the second problem. GMP certification, the seal on the label, is not issued by the FDA. It is issued by private third-party auditors, companies that the supplement brand hires and pays to certify them. The entity being evaluated pays the entity doing the evaluation. That structure is not illegal. It is not hidden. It is just never explained anywhere on the packaging. And I want you to hold one question right now because we are coming back to it. The FDA does issue warning letters when they catch violations. Those letters are public record. Named facilities, specific violations, documented consequences, sitting on the FDA website right now. We will get there. Here is how a supplement brand is actually built. You have an idea, a name. You call a contract manufacturer. They do not ask you what you want to put in it. They send you a catalog, not a catalog of ingredients, a catalog of finished formulas, pre-built stacks, pre-tested combinations, a sleep formula, a recovery formula, a focus blend. You pick one. You add your label. You set your price. You are not a formulator. You are a customer placing an order from a menu. Now, some brands do go further. They pay for a custom specification, a specific active ingredient concentration, a specific raw material supplier, tighter manufacturing tolerances, and that custom specification does cost more to produce. Here is the actual number. The manufacturing cost difference between a stock formula and a meaningfully upgraded custom specification is typically $10 to $20 per bottle. $10 to $20.
NMN.
1.
Resveratrol.
0.
Collagen protein powder.
Ooh. I'll give it a 1.5.
Creatine.
10.
Multivitamins.
2.
Berberine.
10.
Omega-3 fatty acids.
It depends on the type and the delivery, but if it's a quality omega, basically an algae-based omega with high bioavailability, give it a 9.
The retail price difference between those two products sitting next to each other on a shelf can be $150 to $200. You are not paying for a different product. You are paying for the story that there is a different product. And the single most powerful tool they use to tell that story is 2 words: proprietary formula. That phrase has no regulatory definition under US supplement law. None. It means the brand is not required to disclose the specific amounts of each ingredient. It was designed so you cannot compare. It exists so the person standing next to you in the aisle cannot pull out their phone and verify what they are actually purchasing. If you have ever chosen a product specifically because of those 2 words, that was the system working exactly as designed. If you want to understand why proprietary blend laws exist the way they do, and how the lobbying behind them shaped the 1994 DSHEA Act, that breakdown is already up and it connects directly to this. Subscribe so it finds you. But right now, the part where the numbers become impossible to ignore. Fill weight tolerance. 30 seconds of full attention, because this is the mechanism everything else runs through. When a capsule is manufactured at scale, the amount of powder inside each capsule cannot be perfectly identical every single time. Machines have variance. So, the FDA allows a tolerance range. That range is established during something called process validation, a test the facility runs before production begins. Some facilities validate to plus or minus 10%. Some validate to plus or minus 15. Some validate to plus or minus 20%. All 3 are legally compliant. All 3 pass a GMP audit. A capsule labeled 500 milligrams of an active ingredient, validated at plus or minus 20%, can legally contain 400 milligrams. Every capsule, every bottle, full compliance, and the certificate of analysis will confirm it, because the COA tests against the validated spec, not against what the label told you. That is not a loophole someone found. That is the architecture of the system. Now here is where this moves from mechanism to documented reality. A 2023 independent analysis published in JAMA Network Open tested 57 commercially available supplement products. More than half failed to meet their label claims for active ingredient concentration. More than half. This study was not targeting discount products. It included supplements at premium price points, products carrying third-party certification seals, products being actively recommended by doctors and dietitians online. Price did not predict accuracy. That is the finding. Not that cheap brands were worse. That price, the primary signal most people rely on, predicted almost nothing about what was actually inside the capsule. The FDA warning letters make it concrete with names. One publicly available letter cited a facility for releasing finished supplement products to distribution without completing required identity testing on the raw materials. The products had already left the building, already in stores, already being purchased by people who trusted the label. This is a documented event. Public record. Nobody covered it. So maybe you did your research. Maybe you specifically looked for the NSF International Seal, the Informed Sport certification. You paid more because you saw those logos and made what felt like a rational decision. I want to be precise about what those certifications verify, because the gap is where hundreds of dollars per year quietly disappear. NSF International certification confirms one thing: that the ingredients listed on the supplement facts panel are present in the product. It does not verify bioavailability. It does not verify absorption. It does not verify that the raw material source is superior to an uncertified competitor. It does not verify that the concentration is effective for the claimed benefit. It verifies presence. That has value, but present and effective at the labeled dose are not the same claim, and that difference is never explained on the label. Two products, one NSF certified, one not. Nearly identical certificates of analysis. One retails for $40, one retails for $140. The certification process, the audits, the documentation, the annual renewal fees costs money. That cost gets passed to the consumer. You are sometimes paying for the verification, not a meaningfully different product inside the capsule. Now here is the detail I did not expect to find. There are documented cases of supplement brands specifying premium batch runs specifically for press samples and influencer seeding units, tighter tolerances, higher concentration verification on those specific batches. The bottle a reviewer opens on camera is not always manufactured to the same specification as the bottle a customer receives after clicking the link in the description. The FTC supplement marketing enforcement actions from 2021 and 2022 reference this practice. The reviewer is not lying. They genuinely experienced what they described. They just experienced a version of the product that was built for them specifically. And that is why a review from someone who received a free unit tells you almost nothing about what you will receive ordering retail. The signal was real. It was not made for you. And this is actually what led me to look at how this same gap operates in the food industry next. That video connects directly to what you just heard, and it is already up. But right now, the part I think matters most. I am not going to end this with a list of brands to avoid. That is not the point. At some moment, probably more than once, you stood in a store or scrolled a product page and made a decision. You looked at the price, you looked at the seal, you read the words on the label, and you made what felt like an informed choice. You were using every tool the system gave you, and those tools were built by the same industry they were supposed to help you evaluate. That is not unique to supplements. It is what happens in any industry where the gap between perceived quality and actual quality becomes large enough to be profitable. Once that gap exists, the rational business decision is to invest in the perception, not the product, the seal, the language, the influencer who received the premium batch. The factory in New Jersey is not the villain. The factory is doing exactly what it was contracted to do. The deeper issue is a regulatory structure built for pharmaceuticals, applied loosely to supplements through the 1994 Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, and left largely unwatched while a $160 billion global industry built itself inside that gap. An industry where the barrier to launching a brand is a phone call and a Canva file, where proprietary formula means nothing has to be proven, where the federal inspection cycle is measured in decades. There is another piece of this I left out, not because it matters less, but because it deserves its own space. It is about how this exact model runs through the food industry, the skincare industry, and medical devices. Same gap, different packaging. That video is already up. It is the one I would watch next. You were not careless for trusting the signals. The signals were engineered to be trusted. That is what made them worth building.